Hi guys, well this 50 is rather lovely but he's a bit sterile, isn't he? So let's give it some personality. Righty ho then, what do we got? So we've got the Hornby TT120 Class 50. We have the ESU Locksound 5 decoder and my Christmas cracker screwdriver. The best screwdriver I've ever owned for doing models like this. So first things first, let's get the body shell off. Body shell is easy. We have two jumpers, the ETH jumpers here, just unpop from the end. Might need tweezers. Come on. Showing me up now. Yeah. Oh, crying out loud. We use these instead. Got stuck. There we go. He was stuck in there, the other one wasn't. So anyway, we now have 4 screws. Now these aren't so easy to see. They are actually in here, but inside the bogie frame. Same at each end, but you have to twist the bogie slightly to get to the screws, and even then I still can't see what I'm doing. Oh, this is going to be the fun part, isn't it? Let's try it with my light on. Gotcha. It's going to be fun trying to get these screws back in, you know. I just can't see in there. That's 2. 3. 4. So hopefully now the body shell will just wiggle off. There's one end, there's the other end. There we have it. So we have a speaker enclosure there, blanking plate there. We'll just pop. There we go. One blanking plate removed. One Locksound decoder with speaker. In theory, this will just clip or will sit in here, and the chip will plug on So there's the chip on. Now we've just got to house the speaker. Now we have the available here, the back cover. The magnet's good on there, isn't it? Stuck. Get the magnet. So we'll clip that on there. Looks like we've got to glue it. and then it goes in there. I'm thinking that's not going to fit and be clear of the roof. So got to do away with that. Got to peel this frame off the back of there, and we've got to do what we did with the 08, put a plate on the back and screw it down. So on investigation, this is actually a sound chamber, so I don't want to be blanking off the speaker. I need to just put a little bit of, I'm going to use canopy glue just around the inside there with a cocktail stick and glue the speaker in. So on the plastic here, just put a bit of canopy glue, and a small bead all the way around. Just to make sure we get a nice seal. And we'll stick that in there like that. And I'm going to hold that down with a little bit of tape to make sure it stays. It has stuck. But belt and braces. Oh, I've just taken it for a quick spin on a basic test. There is a slight issue where moving off it lurches and then goes, and when it stops it comes in and lurches to a stand. So I've just emailed Digitrains for an updated tweak that I can do to one of the CV settings possibly to remove that lurch when it moves off. But until then we're all good. So we'll just put the body shell back on. Clips on like that, and the fun part of trying to get these 4 screws back in where they come from, because I've left my magnifiers out in the other room, which means I have to move all my cameras and everything out of the way to be able to go and get it. And now I appear to have lost my screwdriver. There it is. Gentle nip. There we go, there's one. And here somewhere. Two. I'll hold it in there somewhere. There it is. Right. Tries I don't want to stick my head in the way. There's the hole. Three. Four. We just have to put the jumper back in the front and we're good to go. Well, it's a week later, but I finally got the sound sorted out. Now, the sound file I ordered was from Digitrains. It's sold as for TT120. However, the project wasn't keyed up and matched to the functions that are on the loco and how it's all connected. So just turn off the drive hold and bring it to a stand. Yeah, brakes on. That's it. Quiet. And because the project wasn't geared up for the Hornby TT120 Class 50, there were some functions that weren't working correctly. I couldn't turn the headlights on. That's a simple one there, and you know, a few bits and pieces weren't quite right. I had to do a motor calibration, stutter on start and stop, but that sorted that out, but it didn't obviously alleviate the other issues that we were having with the functions and sounds and everything else. So with some backwards and forwards emails with Digitrains, they tweaked the CVs at their end and emailed me through a not short list, shall we say, of CVs, sort of 3 emails. I'd emailed the Hornby function list to them, so then they've sort of had an idea what was supposed to work where, etc. So they rejigged all the CVs, they emailed me a list. I spent about 20 minutes just dialing numbers into my ECOS here to reprogram the values on that, and it now works lovely. I now have cab light functions, I have tail lights on and off as and when I want them, marker lights on and off, headlights on and off, all the usual sound functions available, speed lock and controllable brakes on the loco, so the coast and you know you F2 to put the brakes on the loco. All these things are now working lovely. So any future purchases from Digitrains, this should all be squared up now and tuned up, ready to go straight in a TT120 Class 50. So my pain is not your pain. So, but hats off to them, they were brilliant. You know, they went away with what I was telling them, tried a few different things, and then a great big remap of the function and CV values. So now I have Hornby TT120 sound in this one. So this is sort of what's going to happen with the Hellion locos when they come out the Deltic and the 122 bubble car. You won't have the Hornby sounds, but here's proof here that other sounds do fit and work with a bit of a remap, but it's been done at their end now, so they're now version 3 of their system. Obviously I'm running standard DCC, none of this Bluetooth stuff, and I'm happy with that because I've seen lots of people having issues with dropping out and resetting locos, getting reset codes from Hornby and all that. None of that on normal DCC, so fingers crossed anyway, none of that yet. So this is where we're at. So now we are fully connected up, sorted out and playable. So I shall go through the list here and we'll have some sounds. So obviously, as usual, F0 is the head code panel, headlights, F1 is the engine sound, F2 is brake, F3 high tone horn, F4 is low tone horn, F5 is light engine mode, F6 twin horns. There we go. So we go through with sound. So F2 is the brake, F3, what was that? Yeah, high horn, F4 low horn, F5 light engine, F6 twin, F7 is drive hold, F8 is compressor, F9 is flange squeal. Won't hear anything because we're stationary. There we go, bit of flange squeal there, stop your brake. F10 is cold start, F11 is train mode, F12 turns off the tail lights, F13 the usual buffer clash, F14 Spirax valves. I'm assuming you can hear that, they're nice and quiet. F15 cap doors. Turn off some of these. F15, turn off 12. F15 cap door. There we go. 16 guards whistle. F17 AWS bell. Proper bell, excellent. F18 should be a decent horn. And there we go. Perfect. F19 is fading lights in and out. F20 is cab lights, so you should be able to see them on and off. Change ends and they go off. Come on in the other end. Excellent. There we go, so that's the cab lights. F21 is headlight. 22. Handbrake guard. Now I forgot I'd pressed that button and I'd applied and I was wondering why it wouldn't move. Simple. Take the handbrake off and it actually goes somewhere. So we'll take that off. And F23 is the marker lights, turn them off. But I don't know why you would turn them off when you've got your other lights on. So that is where we are at. They are the functions and it works lovely. So turn off the tail lights because we're going to have one. Drive hold F7, so we'll maintain the speed and we'll go to idle. Simple as that. So sweet, job done. On to the next thing. Got to do the ground cover, got to finish that off. But we're getting there. So I'll just bring you in closer, you can watch the train go by and I'll catch you on the next one. So until then, see you later.